Bob Iger isn't having much fun. That's one of them, right? This is all going into Bob Iger has been renewed. Let me read down through some of this. And then, Mike, I want you to kind of take the reins here because you and I are going to be having, oh my God, a lot of fun in a couple of weeks when this Disney earnings call kicks off.
Well, and the sad part is, I
you
think
and
some of this is hurting everything with Disney because even our videos aren't doing very well.
Yeah, you and I,
Like, people
Mike,
just don't care.
are going to have a lot of fun in a couple of weeks. Well, actually, yeah, 10 days with the Comcast earnings call, Universal, because that's going to set the high watermark for Disney. Bob Iger isn't having any fun. 8 months after returning Disney CEO, this is the Wall Street Journal. This is the financial publication of record of the record of the record. I mean, there is nothing higher on the totem pole than this. And as we've been telling you folks for, hell, a year, more than a year, even since before Bob Iger came back, Bob Iger is the architect of all of Disney's problems. I don't care what you think of Bob Chapek and, he hiked the prices in the Disney parks. Bob Iger has not done any material anything to reduce those prices and has said that he doesn't think he needs to.
Well, it's too hot in Florida. Valiant, why does he need to?
It's the climate change, right?
Yeah,
that's all the issue.
Change. Yeah,
Bob Iger isn't going anywhere. He has been recontracted through the end of 2026, but in reality, he is now tied to Disney through the end, December 31st of 2031. That's where we are. You want to know how Bob Chapek got crap canned the first time around? It's because Bob Iger wasn't thrown out of his own office. Because Bob Iger never actually left Disney when Bob Chapek took over. And it's amazing. The financial trades are finally coming around to what we've been telling you now for over a year. This from the Wall Street Journal, 8 months after returning as Disney CEO. He is straining to put out fire after fire, including streaming losses, as an activist investor and TV woes. So let me blow this up here since we've come into the meat and potatoes of this article. Scroll down here again from the Wall Street Journal. Bob Iger's under pressure 8 months after his return, which was sold as a triumphant second act by a savior CEO. Reality is proving a lot more troublesome. Again, the Wall Street Journal. Iger has described himself to his associates at recent private gatherings as stressed from cleaning up a mess that was more extensive than he realized. At the office, he joked in one meeting that it was the wrong time to come back, according to people familiar with the matter. That is an entire conversation in itself. Mike, I can stop right there and hand this to you because you and I both know this is a load of donkey crap. Bob Iger, what he's talking about in that is this is a deflection of reality. This is a dismissal of reality. Bob Iger walked back into the mess that he created. It was Bob Iger that made Disney a streaming company. It was Bob Iger that committed Disney to all of these woke DEI projects, these race swapping, gender swapping of all these different characters like Little Mermaid and Snow White and everything else. All of this was greenlit under Iger. He has created all, and I mean all, of the damn problems that Disney has right now. And this sumbitch is now trying to deflect it like, oh, well, I just got out of here and I was going to retire and all this, and Bob Chapek screwed everything. Bob Chapek had autonomous control for 11 months. 11 months. Bob Chapek's biggest crime, folks, was maybe putting too many things on Disney Plus instead of theaters, number one. And number two, collapsing under immense pressure, as per the reports from Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida himself, to the woke wackos at the Walt Disney Company. Mike, what do you think of this paragraph?
I think this is, the Bob is getting the harvest that he sowed. That is for absolutely sure. That is for absolutely the case. I got to tell you, I rewatched the entire 40-minute interview that aired, and I was just absolutely baffled. While he's a master communicator, he can't say that he this whole thing about he's gaslighting. I mean, he's basically saying I had no idea what was going on. No, first of all, he set up all these pins and he watched them fall, and he was completely and totally delusional. I'm going to go back to the analogy that I think Tom brought up when he said, he's just that Tom, what did you say? The wife with the charge cards that's just out buying stuff or whatever.
Something like, I don't even know if I was the one who said that, but it was said on one of the morning shows. I believe it was either me or somebody like that. I think you said it, to be honest with you, Mike.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean,
think you did. He's like a drunken wife out with the charge card buying all this crap and not even thinking about what it's going to cost at the end of the day. And there's been nothing returned on any of it, really, if you think about it, outside of Marvel. So.
Now, you and Andre released a video that I found absolutely on point and fascinating.
The one that I was just talking about that nobody watched, because that's what I'm saying. I think apathy is even set in for people who give a shit about Disney. But please go on. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, well, I was going to say this is I think what's happened is that we're at another phase with Disney. Like, first we get angry because we're reacting. Well, hold on. First we get angry because
all the stages of grief. Yeah,
we're going through this. Now we're at a different place to where I think now what's happening is that, and I'm looking this myself. I mean, I gotta look at myself in the mirror here and say, where am I at? And I gotta say that there was a time where I was rooting for Disney to be saved. Now, the video that you and Andre did the other day that came out at, I think it's 6 or 7 in the morning, my time, whatever. But you guys laid out a very detailed plan as to exactly how Disney could be saved by Bob Iger literally in the next 24 to 36 months. It was point by point. And I think anyone who's interested, go watch that Midnight Edge video. It was absolutely brilliant. It literally laid out a point-by-point plan as to what needs to happen. But Tom, I think he's too delusional. And it's fascinating to watch him go because I think, the way he became the ride of a lifetime CEO, $108 a share, he just kept buying crap thinking that's going to add value because it was that anticipatory promise. Oh, well, we've got Marvel now. We've got Fox now. We've got Lucasfilm now, we've got this now, we got that now, and yada 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 yada, without any idea how to put it together. And now this is a guy, if you look at how he looked on that interview, he looked older, he looked stressed out. It reminded me of when there would be pictures of Obama in 2008 going into the White House, and you saw Obama in 2010 or 11, 2 or 3 years after.
Yep. White hair and all that shit. Yep.
He looked absolutely awful. He looks like he hasn't eaten. He looks like Bob Iger looks like he hasn't eaten. He looks like he hasn't slept, and he couldn't even look the interviewer in the eye the entire time. His eyes he was constantly shifty. And whenever someone's shifty, that means they're being dodgy. And because anyone that can't look you in the eye and have a blunt, honest conversation about any questions that come up, that's a liar. And Iger is a liar.
Yeah, we got car salesman Bob for years, right? Mike is 100% right. And in this interview, we got, what do you want from me, Bob? Basically, like, he has been busted down. He has no place to go. He's a caged animal at this point. He may have facilitated his sticking around all these years, but he has convinced himself that Disney needs him at this point. He has somehow, in some convoluted way, convinced himself that he is the only person who can get them out of this mess. And I think you made up the biggest point, Mike. There's this. There was a point when a lot of people, and this is where I think the apathy is set in Valiant. This is what I was talking about before with our video we just put out and whatnot, and why I think this whole thing is kind of just imploded in itself. People have walked away from Disney. Yes, the whole stages of grief at this point, there's no hope left. Nobody has any hope left of any return on Disney's part. They have killed Lucasfilm. They have killed Marvel. They have killed the Disney animation. They have killed Pixar. They have nothing left for anybody to really care about. There's nothing left to
ESPN.
Save, right? Like, this is like you're staring at your family member, they're brain dead on life support, and you're going, is this really a worthwhile thing to try and say? I mean, what more can we do, right? Like, it's done for. This company has eroded everything in his
It's destroyed pop culture with one company.
Yeah.
It has taken everyone's childhood and family safe entertainment. I'm going to add in there too, because parents used to rely on this stuff, and has flushed it. And if you like current stuff now, fantastic. But Iger has bought everything and flushed everything. And there's no denying that. Everything attached to Disney is now a sense of distaste. You can't see anything else but see the cancer above the name Marvel, above Pixar. There is no saving it, because the man at the top thinks he is the only savior, and a company doesn't run on one man. It was just destroyed by one.
Yeah.
No, and Andre. Oh, go ahead, Nick. I'm sorry.
I was just going to add. I was just going to say, and that's another reason why I've been a big component of. If Kathleen Kennedy leaves, I don't see much changing, because the root of the problem is the whole corporation as a whole. It doesn't just fall on one person, except for Bob Iger being that one person who's at the top of the tree.
Renegade.